Yeah, and do we want our legislators up here?
Yeah, she can kind of corral them up here.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Just make sure Laura's ready to go.
Where do you want us to? I really believe that in 2 years people are going to look back on this and say it was a great idea and we made money.
Hello, everyone. If I could have your attention, please. I'd like to invite all of our Alaska State legislators to come and stand behind us. It's great to see everybody that's made it back after session.
Call people in the back.
All right, and we do have some seats if reporters or any of you would like to sit down. We're going to get ready to get started. Tell me when you're ready. And turn the time to you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with this bill signing, which is a critical part of Alaska's future that we are all excited about. I'd like to turn the time over to Laura Sidoff right now.
Thanks, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, everyone, for being here and attending the Governor's second annual Sustainable Energy Conference. I know many of us here today, especially those behind us, weren't sure if we'd be able to make it here, so I'm glad we're all here, and this is something to celebrate. If you've spent any time around the Governor in the last few months, you've probably heard about carbon. When I stepped into my role as the legislative director in January, I have to admit that I didn't know much about it other than checking a box on Amazon to make my package carbon neutral. But the Governor's enthusiasm and advocacy of the state of Alaska capturing a new revenue stream, something we haven't done in decades, was palpable. When this bill rolled out, the legislature had many questions, and there was a lot of time spent by the DNR team educating and holding sessions in the Capitol building, speaking before committee to get everyone up to speed. So I am eternally grateful to all of those who put in so much work on this bill to develop the framework to establish a carbon offset program for the state. There was nearly a unanimous vote of the legislature to pass this bill in the last week of session. So I have lots of gratitude for everyone here standing behind me and everyone that couldn't make it, who vetted this bill and ultimately made it a better bill. So thank you, Governor, for your vision and making Alaska a player in this emerging market. And let's hear more about carbon from the Governor.
Always have to do a little adjustment. A little adjustment. Thanks, Laura, and thanks everyone for being here. You know, Alaska was built upon a promise that we would be north of the future. We'd be visionary, we'd be looking out for the next 10, 15, 20, 25, 100 years for our kids and our grandkids. And that's what this initiative does. That's what this bill does. I want to thank the legislators that are behind me. This was a 58 out of 60 legislators voted yes. I think it speaks volumes for their optimism as well. This bill is going to allow us now to have conversations worldwide with individuals involved in the carbon market. Just like oil, just like gas, just like our timber, this is a commodity that can be monetized now. And Alaska is going to play a big role. With over 43 million acres of trees within state possession, state lands, as well as countless bogs, peat, lakes, you name it, that also could be monetized. This is a tremendous opportunity to not only provide revenue, but also use some of that revenue to help our state reduce its energy costs and employ a lot of the new technologies. I want to thank our Department of Natural Resources, Commissioner Boyle, and his team. I also want to thank Senator Wielechowski and Representative Edgman for carrying the bills on the floor in the respective bodies. I want to thank all of those that advocated for this. You know, some folks say we're taking a risk. Alaska's always been about risk, but I think it's a great risk. I think it's going to bode well for Alaska, and it's going to do what we hope it does, and that is, once again, monetize a brand new commodity that Alaska could lead the world in. So SB 48 establishes a program to allow private parties to contract with the state for the purpose of carbon management in our offset program. Also is going to allow for the discussions that continue on sequestering carbon within our oil basins. It's positive for the environment. It's compatible with the use of our other natural resources. It supports continued public access, this bill will, to our state lands and forests. This does not prohibit the state from doing other activities on its lands. We're going to be able to hunt, fish, live, mine, produce oil, produce gas. This is just an addition to the commodities that we already monetize. SB 48 provides a statutory framework for DNR to advance carbon interests in two ways: by contracting with parties for carbon management, and by standing up a program for DNR, at DNR, for the state to undertake its own carbon offset projects. Both programs will require a best interest finding and public comment opportunity to ensure Alaskans are aware and can be involved. SB 48 also takes a step forward on Alaska, establishing a framework for the geologic sequestration of carbon dioxide by including a provision enabling the Alaska Oil and Gas Conservation to seek regulatory primacy from the Environmental Protection Agency over Class 6 wells for underground storage of carbon dioxide. And so once again, I think it's an exciting time for Alaska. We're going to work through the details in the process as we see interest to begin soliciting Alaska for partnerships and participation in this new commodity. And we're going to keep the Alaska public informed, and we look forward to making Alaska a center for energy production as well as innovation and creativity. So with that, Laura, I think what we're going to do is sign the bill.
Governor, we're actually going to have Commissioner Boyle make a couple of remarks and Deputy Secretary Turk as well with the Department of Energy.
It's okay, Governor, we'll keep this brief. Today's an exciting day for Alaska and for DNR. You know, DNR's mission is to develop the state's resources for the maximum benefit of its people. And SB 48 gives us another tool in our toolkit to do that very thing. The boreal forests that exist in Alaska and across the northern hemisphere represent the world's largest global warehouse for carbon. SB 48 gives us the tools and the incentives to start to manage our forests in a way that will minimize the amount of carbon that's released in the atmosphere through wildfires, through natural events like beetle kill, other types of things, because it really helps incentivize and focus our attention on providing active forest management that enables our forests to be healthy, that enables our marketable timber stands to increase in value over time. And I think for me, SB 48 really sends a signal to the world that Alaskans really care about our environment. We care about clean air. We care about clean water. We subsist off the fish in our rivers and lakes. We subsist off the animals that graze on our lands. We care about our environment. And we also care about developing our resources. And SB 48 gives us a tool to continue to develop our natural resources in a way that's responsible and that sets a standard for the world that shows that we can have an all-the-above approach when it comes to our energy mix and when it comes to the other raw materials that are so important to everyday life. So we really appreciate the legislature's support. We appreciate the debate and the focus. We're really excited as well to have the piece around Class 6 well primacy with the AOGCC, because carbon capture, utilization, and storage remains a priority for us, and we're going to look forward to engaging with the legislature over the upcoming months and weeks on that very topic, because again, we think Alaska can be a global leader in warehousing and managing the world's carbon, and we're very much looking forward to stepping up and being part of that solution. So thanks very much.
Well, thank you very much, Governor, and thank you, Commissioner, and thanks for giving me just a few minutes here to say a brief hi to all of you and a big thanks to all of you. The Governor mentioned how exciting this particular moment is for Alaska, and I couldn't agree more, I have to say. Alaska is a clean energy powerhouse. And my discussions here so far, and I'm heading off to Nome and Teller and Kotzebue and then coming back to the conference, have convinced me that the sky's the limit on Alaska's future on the clean energy side of things. And for us all to execute together, there are three things we need to do. One is in full exhibition here today, and that's leadership. Thank you, Governor, for your leadership. This bill is just a sign of that leadership. Thank you for all our fellow congressmen here from the state. Leadership is something that's talked a lot about, but what we're seeing here is an example of it actually coming into the real world. And so really appreciate the leadership. The fact that we've got this conference, the fact that so many people are here, including and especially investors are here, is a real sign of leadership, and really appreciate that. The second component is partnership. And we've got a lot more tools in the tool belt at the federal government level. $4 billion has already come back to Alaska to work on the infrastructure. We've got tax incentives, the likes of which we've never seen across the clean energy spectrum, for technologies that are cost competitive today and cost competitive into the future as we do more R&D. 10-year tax incentives, a huge wind at the back for developers. So now's the time to go big. We've got $100 billion just at my department, Department of Energy, 70 new competitive grant programs. We've got rebates coming to consumers to try to make it more affordable to benefit from the energy efficient technologies of the future. We've got a loan program that is open for business, working with Alaskan companies, Alaskan tribes. 10 times the amount of loan authority for the tribes as part of that loan program. So we have leadership, we have partnership, and eager to work in that partnership mode. And then the most important component, the third component, is execution. None of this makes any difference unless it's actually benefiting, first and foremost, Alaskans, Alaskan communities. What's good for Alaskan communities can be good for Alaska, and what's good for Alaska in this clean energy transition is good for the country and good for the world. So thanks for the leadership, thanks for the partnership, and really looking forward to the execution as well. Thank you all.
You want to come and say anything? Anybody else want to say anything? All right, looks like we're going to sign the bill. Crowd around.